Hey everyone, so today we are going to learn about rectilinear figures. From the previous lessons, you've already learned about finding the perimeter of a rectangular area. You've learned about finding the area of a rectangular area. So now you're just going to be finding the area of a rectilinear figure. So make sure that you're paying attention to the lesson. Remember, this is something new that we are learning today. So our topic is MD3. I can find the area of a rectilinear figure. Now, I know some of you guys are wondering, what is a rectilinear figure? So, rectilinear figures are figures that look like a rectangle, sort of. However, they're not even in size. So the sizes are not even. Um, and as you can see here, that some of them, the sides are different lengths, and they just look irregular. So you can say a rectilinear figure is like an irregular figure. They're not regular. So these are just examples. These three are examples of rectilinear figures. Um, so the question is, what is a rectilinear figure? You should know a rectilinear figure are figures that are not even on all sides. They're an irregular figure. So what we're going to do is we are going to find the area of rectilinear figures. But before that, how do we find the area of a figure? How do I find the area? So like, what is the formula for area? And think about it. The formula for area is length times width, or width times length, or L times W. So you know you're multiplying two sides. So length times width times length is how to find the area. So we're sticking to that formula when finding the rectilinear figures. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to think about these steps. So make sure you're writing these down. The first step to finding a rectilinear figure is to decompose the shape into two rectangles. Decompose. That word should stand out to you. Decompose means to do what? It means to break down. So decompose is breaking down two shapes. So I know that decompose, I'm just going to like highlight this or underline that. Decompose means to break down or break apart two shapes. So you decompose the shape into two rectangles. We're going to do that. Then we're going to find the area of each rectangle. So we're going to find the area of one rectangle and find the area of the other rectangle. And then we're going to add the two areas together, and then we'll have our final answer for the area of a rectilinear figure. So review one more time, decompose the two figures, find the area of each rectangle, and then add the two areas together. All right, so we're going to look at a problem together. And you don't have to worry about drawing this one out. All I want you to do is just look at it. I'm going to look at how I solve this problem. So I need to break this apart. You can either break it apart vertically or horizontally. So you break it apart into two different rectangles. When I mean by breaking it apart, I do not mean like this. This is not breaking it apart. First off, they're not two rectangles if you break that apart. What I mean is break it apart to where it's even, and there's two even, not two even rectangles, but it's even enough to make two rectangles. So this is vertically. We're going to break this apart vertically. All right, and now I need to find the area of each rectangle. So I'm gonna find the area. This is gonna be like my first rectangle. So my first rectangle, I'm gonna find the area of this. So first area is length times width. So what is my length and what is my width? All right, I have 9 and 3. So my length is 9, my width is 3. So I'm gonna do 9 times 3. And 9 times 3 is 27. So usually I can write it in here as well. I'm going to write it on the side though for you guys. So 9 times 3 is 27. And now I have to find my area of my second rectangle. So, excuse me, y'all. So the area of my second rectangle is my length and my width, 2 and 3. So I'm going to do 2 times 3, which equals 6. So 2 times 3 equals 6. So if I go back, I decomposed, I broke it apart. So if I look at my notes, oops, if I look at my notes, I broke it apart into two rectangles. Then I found the area of each rectangle. This is my area, this is my area. Got it? Now all I need to do is add the two areas together. I want to add these two together, 27 and 6. As you can see, my 6 is in the wrong place. So I need to put my 6 in the ones place. So when I add up 27 and 6, 7 plus 6 is 13. So I know I have 33 as my answer. So 33 is my final answer for finding the area of this entire rectilinear figure. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to solve another one. The last one I solved vertically. So you can solve it either way and you should still get the same answer. So the first step is to decompose, right? So we're going to decompose. And with this one, I want you to try it with me. So make sure you have paper and pencil, and you don't have to worry about drawing it out. You see it, but all you need to worry about is writing both of the multiplication problems, finding the area of both of the figures. All right. So I'm going to draw this horizontally. You see how I broke this apart into two figures? I couldn't just do it any random spot. So now I have two rectangles, and I want to find the area of both of them. So this is my first rectangle. So my first, you can pick whatever one you want as your first and your second rectangle as well. So my first rectangle, and some people may think it's a square. Why is this not a square? Why is this not a square up here? Because both in a square, all sides are equal, and obviously that's 3 and 5, and those aren't equal, so we know it's a rectangle. All right, going back to what I was saying though. So we're going to find the area of this first rectangle. So I know it's 3 length times your width. 3 times 5 is 15. So I'm going to write 3 times 5 equals 15. Boom. And then we're going to do this next rectangle, which I know my length is 5, width is 6. So 5 times 6 equals 30. Or you can say 6 times 5 equals 30. Either way, it'll be the same. So my second rectangle is 5 times 6 equals 30. Now my last step, remember, was to add them all up. So when I add this up, 5 plus 0 is 5, 3 plus 1 is 4. So my final area is 45 for this, finding the rectilinear, the area for this figure is 45. All right, so now what we're going to do is, ooh, look at this one. So we're going to do this one, but this one looks different. Why does it look different now compared to these last ones? What's different about this one? Yeah, so it has squares in it now. So it's the same thing. We're still finding the area. We can still break it apart. But however, I'm going to tell you a secret. I'm going to tell you a secret at the end. So we're going to break this apart. Let's break it apart vertically. Do vertically. So this is one rectangle and this is another rectangle. So I broke it, decomposed it. So now I'm going to find the areas of each one. So this one doesn't have numbers on the side. So whenever you have little squares and you want to find the area, the secret is, I'm going to tell you now, secret is just add up your squares. Add up all your squares. If you didn't know that, some people might have known that already. But add up your squares and you find the area of each one. So for this long rectangle, I'm adding up my squares 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Boom, this is 10. I'm going to make it in a different color. So I know this is 10 squares, square units. And this has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 square units. So another way we can do this is you can just look on the sides also and put your dimensions on the side. So I know this is 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 2. So I know my first rectangle is 5 times 2 equals 10. And so for this rectangle, I see it's 3, 1, 2, 3, and 2 on the side. So 3 times 2 obviously is 6. So that's my second area. And now all you have to do is add 10 plus 6, which is 16. So my area is 16 for this image. So sometimes you may see it with squares instead of it being blank without the squares like this. All right, so what I want you to do is, oops, let's take this out, is I want you to solve this problem on your own. I want you to solve this problem and find the area, um, the full area for this problem. And make sure you decompose it. So you're breaking it apart. And I'll start you off and I'm going to break it apart vertically for you. So find the area for the total area for this image here. So you should have time to find the area for this image, and we're going to see if you got it correct. So we're going to start with this image. You might have started with this rectangle. I'm going to start with this rectangle on the left. And obviously, rectangle, it's a square also. Why? Because all sides are equal. A square is a rectangle. So we're going to find the area of this first one. So I'm going to put my first rectangle is 5 times 5, which equals 25. So this is my area of my first rectangle. The area of my second rectangle is 4 by 8. Sometimes you might hear by. That's the same thing as like times. So a 4 by 8. 4 times 8, which is 32. So I'm going to do 4 times 8, 32. So that's my second area. So now what I need to do is add up both of those. So when I add them up, 5 plus 2 is 7. 3 plus 2 is 5. So my total area is 57. So that is it. That's how you find the area of rectilinear um, rectil rectilinear figures. So that is it for today, and that is your lesson.